Can't get it to go back over. There we go. All right. Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap podcast. I'm your host, Colleen Biggs, and I can't believe we're already on episode 29 since we've started this new podcast. You know, we've done Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up for over 168 episodes, and now we have Take the Leap, and we're talking with guests every single week, multiple guests per week sometimes, about how they've taken the leap in their lives, the things that they've done. And I know that Lil's got a lot to share today. We just got done doing a podcast about profit first and how to keep more money in your business. And today we're going to be jumping in with Lil Barcaski on how to expand your influence through publishing. This is another way to get your story out there, another way to get your marketing out there. And you guys heard me talk about Profit First and free books that they were giving away. They gave away free books. The number one thing that we were talking about on that podcast was the book and getting the book, because the book is a manual on how you implement Profit First. So publishing is so important. So it's so fitting that we're going to be talking to Lil today about that. But before we get to our show today, I want to thank our sponsor, Hey Taxi. Hey Taxi empowers and educates female entrepreneurs who are growing their businesses online. Hey Taxi's empowered CEO membership is for you if you're a female entrepreneur who is ready and fully committed to taking action to run a successful, profitable business and ready to scale quickly. You need a strategic support from experienced business peers who can partner to develop action plans and provide access to focused business training and go-to tools covering all the areas of running a business online, including finance, taxes, sales, marketing, mindset, etc. And you get direct access to vetted business CPAs, live interactive trainings, on-the-go business resources. So take the Empowered CEO survey today to identify the gaps and gold stars in your current business strategy and structure. And you're going to go to www.surveymonkey.com/r/Swiss cheese survey. And that link is there for you at your fingertips for the podcast, as well as here on Facebook. You can click that link and go visit and take that Swiss cheese survey. You're going to learn a lot about yourself if you are an empowered CEO or not. So I highly suggest you go and do that. Okay, so let's get back to Miss Lil Barcaski. I know that she has had an interesting past, but she has been a self-starting entrepreneur for her entire 30-plus year career. In the past, she's been a successful restaurateur and a professional actor, musician. And for the last 15 years, Lil has been the CEO and project manager of a publishing and marketing firm based out of the Tampa Bay area, and a much sought after ghostwriter and consultant. She has ghostwritten dozens of books in the business, memoir, and even fiction genres. She's an author, a playwright, a blogger, a coach, and a consultant. Lil, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but they might say, what's ghostwriting? I don't even know what that is. I'm going to let you explain that, because when I found out what a ghostwriter was, it kind of blew my whole thought on book writing, because I thought all the authors that wrote books sat down and wrote every single word in their book. And I thought to myself, how could I ever write a book? These are amazing, that their grammar that they use, the way they say a sentence or build to a story. What is ghostwriting, Lil?
Well, the first thing is, it's not necessarily about writing about ghosts. So, although I make the joke that I wrote a young adult series that did really well called The Rose Diary, which actually was about ghosts. But ghostwriting is simple. Most people can't write. That's not their thing. Or even if they write, they don't write at the level that a ghostwriter writes or a professional writer writes. And moreover, they don't have the time. So I like to say, don't mow your own lawn. I'll mow it for you. And in this case, the lawn is writing your book. So you probably have all the ideas in your head, you know your subject matter, you're passionate about what you do, but writing it down in a sequential, perfectly crafted way may not be your forte, where it is mine. So the other thing people ask me all the time is, don't you get upset when you write a book and your name isn't on it, someone else's? And I often say, not when I go to the bank. So you have to pay me to do that. And I get
Right.
paid quite well, obviously, to do it. And our company, fortunately, also publishes for people. We're a hybrid publisher, which means that we
Okay.
put together the publishing packages when you ghostwrite if you want us to be your publisher as well. So.
Oh, nice. Okay. So now we know what ghostwriting is. So I kind of picture it like if you're designing a house, right? Or you're designing your new, backyard and nothing's there. And you have this vision in your head of what you want it to look like. And then when you lay it all out and they show you the plans and you're going through the process and you're telling them why you want it a certain way and the feel you want it to have in the backyard. And then when it's finished, you're like, this is better than I ever could imagine. That's how I feel that a ghostwriter is, because they make it with their craft, like you said, of how to write it, they make it 10 times better. So even if you were to write the book or have a bunch of, manuscripts already written or ideas of things that you have, they can take that and turn it around into a number one bestseller that people are going to want to read. And I guess we should face it, Lil, as much as we don't want to, we're not good at everything, right? I'm not good at installing a backyard. I'm good at the vision of
No.
how I want the backyard to feel when my family's in it, but installing everything and getting it to look exactly the way that I had intended, I don't know how to do the actual process through that. So what you're talking about could be the difference of a book that you write and nobody buys. Maybe you do a campaign to kick it off and you have a couple hundred people buy your book. Did you do all of that for 200 people to buy your book? Or did you do all of this to impact thousands and hundreds and tens of thousands of people? And that's, how many people you want to buy your book. So some thought to put into this when you're thinking of writing a book. So these are all of those people out there right now that are thinking about writing a book, have a book that you're, wanting to publish, or have an idea and you don't know if writing a book is the right next step for you. I can tell you that it's going to help you get on more podcasts. It's going to help you get on more news stations, radio stations, when you have a book, because you have something, to be able to sell an item. But I know this hasn't always been that way. And you've taken some leaps lately in your life, Lil, of some changes. Of things that have really rocked your world. I have too, right? Most people that know me know that I've had some changes happen in my world. I've dissolved a partnership. That was a little rocky road for a while. And in the end, no matter what, I know that my intuition told me the right choice to make. I don't fault anyone. I have forgiven myself and others for anything that I've done or they've done. Talk to me about what you've been through, a little bit of, what's changed for you in your past.
Well, similar to you, I was in a partnership that wasn't working for a lot of reasons, and love you dearly, but have to go. And I love that you call this company Leap, because I call myself a Buddha Christian. So
That's great.
the whole, yeah, I know, right? But the whole idea, and I think it is a Buddhist thing, that leap in the net will appear. And I am so fortunate, and I don't want to overlook it. I'm knocking on my head and all that. I'm fortunate that every time I've left, the net showed up. And boy, did the net show up this time. So somewhere along the line, I was in a networking group, I guess about November. I had just quit the company I was with, had to go through a lot of stuff with lawyers and all that kind of stuff. And we started to really crank. And they asked me to be the speaker for the day. And out of my mouth, I said, what we're going to do at GWN Publishing from here on in is we're going to seek people who write for the greater good. We're going to seek people who are looking to create better things, who are looking to elevate, educate, and illuminate the world. And those are my three buzzwords, my three belief words. And right after I said that, the net just got bigger, and more people came, and now, geez, we're publishing 3, 4, 5 books a month. And we're a small company. There's only 6 of us altogether. I think 8 of us altogether if you count the extraneous illustrators and things. But we're doing children's books. We're doing illustrations. We're doing all kinds of things. Everything from devotionals to books on integrative medicine. Right? So it really is great. And I think when you start to define who you are, what you believe in, that everything falls into place. The net does appear, and you should leap, and you can leap, and you can leap with confidence that it's going to be okay. And you do the same thing, Colleen. Yeah. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, and it was a big leap of faith. That we had a lot of I'm still working on some things, but I'm very fortunate. I have a tremendous staff of people. I have my right hand man, Christina Konitzer, is our lead designer. She works the rest of the design team. We have tremendous interior design, both designers. We have a wonderful Becky Melton, handles all our web stuff, do websites for people. So when you come to us, the cool thing I liked about us is that when you come to us, I always owned a web development company doing WordPress. We combined all of it. We took my old company and this stuff, all my knowledge with what I learned from my past company working under someone as a publisher and learning the ropes and all that over the years, and then we made one big thing. So some people come to us, they want everything truthfully, they want their books to speak. And that's really what most of our 80% of our clients want to write a book so they can go out and speak about their business, or they can speak about something that happened to them. They can speak about abuse. We had one woman who found out after years that all 3 of her daughters were being abused by her husband. And the book is beautiful. It's called Pieces. It's gorgeous. And it's just such a beautiful book. And she wants to talk to other women about some of the warning signs you might see, you don't want to see, and it's a brother. So everybody has a reason to write their book primarily to speak. So then when they want a speaker website, they don't have to go somewhere else. We make it for them. They want a speaker one sheet, we create graphics. So I have a team that does, and it's nice. You don't have to run around looking for all these pieces and parts. And we don't take royalties. We set it up so that these people get their own royalties, deal with their own, their money's their money. We don't want them. We want to do our job. Like you say, there's a lot of things I'm incapable of. I always make a joke about people say, you do so many things, you're capable, you're a drummer, you're always say, what don't you do? And I always say, plumbing. I can't do plumbing. I have no idea. I'm going to call a plumber every time, and my mom always said there are people for that. I hire people who do their thing, and that's their job, and they should. That's how the economy works. Like, why are you mowing your lawn when the guy mowing your lawn makes less for the month than you make by the hour? Let somebody do their job.
Right.
And we do the job. So, because if you try to self-publish, you're going to be sitting around trying to figure a lot of stuff out that we can do for you cheap and fast and better than you could ever think to do. And then from there, we got you all the way. So, and we like to take people wherever they are. If they've already got a book and it's pretty good, we'll just publish it. If they think it's fine, if they need editing, most of the time they need proofreading. Sometimes people have a whole bunch of stuff, like you said, blogs, otters from a podcast. Put this and make a book out of it. Do that. Wherever you are, we start where you are and we go from there, even if it's just I have a thought in my head and I want to write a book about it.
Yeah. Lil, you said something that kind of really shook me. And I heard something yesterday. I don't remember if it was a video that popped up in my feed. Nothing happens by accident. And I really feel that angels speak to us mostly through technology. And that's how we get a lot of our messages. And the message that came up yesterday, this is a very strong message for you and I. The most dangerous you will ever be is when you realize you can do it on your own. And I want everyone to let that land. The most dangerous you will ever be is when you realize you can do it on your own. And most of the time, I would say 89% to 95% of the time, we get in partnerships because somewhere in our unconscious mind, we believe deep down that we can't do it by ourselves. So we partner with someone else because that makes it a little bit easier for us to have someone else with responsibility. And we're not out there, building this business by ourselves. And I'm not saying you're not doing it with a network of people or community around you, but I'm talking the actual business with your name on it. In fact, my husband and myself don't even have each other's names on our businesses. And as we've been talking about, wealth building and properties and so many other things that we have going on in our life, we've talked about, okay, well, what would happen if something happened to you? What would happen to your business? Who would run the business? What would you want me to do with the business? These are things that, I think we need to talk about. But I remember saying to my husband, you will be my only partner from this point forward. He's not a partner on my business, but he'll be my only partner because I have realized now that I can do it on my own. And that's when we become dangerous. And I'm glad that you said that, because women that are speaking up, men that are speaking up, someone that is sharing, a concept like profit first, about how to take profit out of your business, how to pay yourself as an entrepreneur, because you would never accept a job tomorrow, Lil, that said, hey, we're going to give you zero benefits and $0 and you're going to work 60 hours a week. Do you want that job? You'd be like, no. Who would take that job? I don't know. 50% of the entrepreneurs out there take that job, and they wear it proudly like a badge, and it shouldn't be that way. So it takes someone who's figured it out to teach other people how to do it. It takes that mom who, with shame and regret and pain and everything, for her to heal through this book writing, for her to warn other people, for her to share her story that becomes a manuscript for other people. It becomes saving lives. It becomes impactful. It changes the world. So for those of you that are thinking, I don't have anything to say, I had a lady once tell me, I don't think I could be on your podcast because I don't really have a story. And I said, oh, hun, we all have a story. And it changed her life. That one moment where I said, we all have a story, and I really want you to come on the podcast. Trust me, I'll help guide you through the process. A year later, she was standing on stage in front of 1,000 people speaking. It just takes that one time.
We have a great book we're working on right now called Wake Her Up, and it's Marcella Hill, I think. So she's going to be great. But she didn't think she had a story to tell. And when she started going out, she makes mittens out of old people's woolen coats. She took over the family business, and it's a very small shop. And so you send an old woolen sweater or whatever, and she turns them into mittens. And from that, she created such an amazing set of stories about reconsidering your life and repurposing things and getting away, and she's gone through, and all these little vignettes, and it's going to be a fantastic book. And she did some stuff on Instagram and gained like 50,000 followers. She has like 70,000 Instagram legit followers, people following her that are dying for the book. And she's been paid to speak already, and everybody wants her to speak. So we'll be putting her website together and all the things she needs to go out. And you don't know. And from that, just all she does is make mittens. I mean, like, seriously, like, you think, okay, what is a woman to make mittens have to talk about? The story, I was almost crying reading one of the stories. I mean, I was really tearing up about this guy who had an old sweater, and she took and repurposed it and made mittens, and his wife bought a pair of the mittens for him. It was beautiful. I mean, just amazing stuff. And everybody that we work with has some sort of stories. My story is pretty crazy. I mean, so someday I'll write it all down. It's been pretty nuts, but it's been fun, and it's all been an adventure, and I hope to continue to be an adventure. But even whether you have a crazy, unbelievable life like I've had, or you have one job and one husband and one life, whatever, you still have things that have happened to you. You've got things to talk about, and in your business, if you want to just talk about your business, but tell stories. Don't tell me your sales techniques and how I do this and I sell more. Tell me about the guy who was only making 30 grand a year, and he used your sales techniques. Now he's making 6 figures, and he bought a house, and he took his mom from poverty to the house. He saved his brother's life. Tell me the story about what your sales technique did to elevate someone else's ability to sales. Tell me that. When we put those stories together, real estate agents have plenty of stories, all kinds of crazy things that happen to them. Tell the stories, and then they're going to ask you to speak at the realtor convention or the mortgage convention or the plumbing convention, whatever it might be. But you got to tell your stories, and you have them. You have tons of them. You just don't even know you have them. And that's what we do. We figure it out. We ask all the right questions to tell you stories. So not everybody has a crazy or extraordinary life, but you all have an interesting life, and you've all done something with your career, your family, your life that has changed your life and others. And so you can change more people's lives if you do it.
Right. And it's not about us. I always say, take the spotlight off you. It's not about you. It's about the impact that you've made on other people. It's about the lives that you've changed. And it takes someone like a professional like you, Lil, to be able to ask the right questions for us to really understand that it's even relevant, right? Something that seems irrelevant to us that we wouldn't think would be part of a book. And you would say, oh, no, I need to know this information, and that information and tell me more about this. Now let's dive into more about this. And then before once you get it all out, you're just sitting there thinking, wow, I didn't even realize. So let's talk about how publishing a book elevates an individual who is an entrepreneur. I think this is the most misunderstood area of being a published author. People think they just do it to do it. How does it separate them from the rest of the pack of entrepreneurs? Why would this female, Marcella, that you just talked about, who creates mittens, what is the reason for her writing a book? How does that separate her?
Sure. And just really quickly going back to the biggest compliment I've ever gotten, and I've gotten it more than once, is that people say to me, you ask questions no one else has ever asked. You ask questions that are difficult, right? I'm not afraid to ask a difficult question. The way you elevate your business, and again, I think it goes back to my dad was a college prof. There he said, "Publish or perish," right? And he had to publish. He was a published author out in Michigan. But I think the truth is that when you want to speak, and there are people who argue with me and say you don't need a book to speak. You don't need a book to speak. However, it legitimizes you as an entrepreneur that you have taken the time to write 30, 40, 50,000 words about your subject, stories that have impacted other people about your subject. When you stand on stage and are able to hold that book in your hand, or when the speech is over and you can sit at your table and sign the book, you become more famous, you become more elevated, you become someone to speak about. It also gives people more of a reason to hire you to speak. Oh, I heard you on a podcast talking about your book, Wake Her Up, or Pieces, or whatever it might be. And it was published by, that's wonderful. You're a published author. Even the compilation books, we have people who are we do compilation books. We do a program that no one else does. If anyone wants to produce one, talk to me. Nobody does it the way we do it. It's really
no,
good.
They don't. And I know your process.
No, it's really unique.
It's really unique.
Really unique process, and it's like it's bulletproof. But I have people. One woman, Monica Lanner, she lives in Canada. She does book signings. She's in a series of books, right? She's in both of them, in the book series. She takes both books. She goes to coffee shops and buys a cup of coffee for you if you buy her book. She's at libraries. She does speaking engagements and book signings every week in Canada. And she gets a discount on the books from the producer, so she doesn't pay a lot. So she can sell the books, make some money, which is cool. That's not really her goal. Her goal is people to know about her. She's a coach, especially if you're a coach. If you're a coach, you want to have a book. We also do a lot of workbooks. People do book where I'm putting one out. I'll plug it tight. That we look for my book. It's coming out pretty soon on entrepreneurship, on basics. Like I've never done this before. How the hell do I start? Right. And it's 6 modules. And at the end of every one, there are questions and exercises. That's an easy book to put together, 15, 20,000 words. And now people have to come to you because they want to hear you, and you can say to them, fill this out, answer all the questions, and come to me as a coach, and we can talk about how you experienced all these things and what your answers were. And did you try the exercises? Those are the kinds of things you could do that will give you more clients. That'll come to be a personal client. And so personal client could be $5,000 a month. I mean, it's not small change. So a book like that could get you all the clients you need by getting them excited or getting groups together to work on it. We have a divorce coach who does that. She wrote a terrific book on divorce, and now she teaches women in groups how to talk about finances and what do we do about the kids and all the questions in the book. And again, 20,000 words at most. Lots of questions, lots of exercises, lots of charts and how do I do this and what do I do that. It really gives you something. It gives you a springboard to go from.
Yeah, it becomes a marketing funnel for you to be able to utilize it. So you should think about when you're writing your book. So let's talk about the difference. A compilation book is going to be when you have several authors that you're working with and you're all maybe speaking on a similar subject. I did one not too long ago that you can see behind me on the video. Those of you that are listening on the podcast, all you have to do is go to Colleen Biggs on Facebook. The link is below and you can see this video. The book behind me that's sitting right here is called Stepping in the Spotlight to Expand Your Influence to Attract the Right Clients. everything that I focus my business building on has to do with putting yourself out in the spotlight, has to do with showing up everywhere, has to do with being authentic about your brand, being yourself, whether you're on stage, whether you're doing that influence through Instagram or LinkedIn or through videos. And so I gathered 11 experts in all these different areas for how we expand our influence to attract the right clients, because you can reel in clients. You can go fishing all day long. I want to attract the right ones. I want to attract the ones that are like, she's the one I want to work with, right? I like her attitude. I like her no BS. This is the stuff I usually hear. I love her energy, and she's the one I want to work with, right? She's built all these businesses. She's going to help me build mine. I want to work with her. When I've chosen all of my coaches, I've known right away when I met them. And because they spoke and because they had a book that I read, I knew right away that I wanted to work with them because of the values, who they were, everything about them. So, a compilation book is putting a bunch of people together on a similar subject or subjects for you to do that. And that's something that you can profit off of. It's also something that you're pooling money together with a bunch of people to be able to produce the book. So it's a great way for all of you to become authors and help leverage each other at a very small cost. And then there's you being an author on your own, which is going out and writing your own book. And many women usually start compilation that I know, I started compilation until 2021. And then or 2020, this year is when I've considered, hey, maybe I should think about writing my own book. And then it's like, but am I there? I keep thinking to myself, I think there's more to my story. And I'm wondering if I should write the book now or if I should wait. So what if someone out there is thinking that, Lil, they've done compilation books, they love them, they've been in them, and they've contributed to them, and they've done one of their own. So their name's on the book, and then they've contributed as an author to the books. And now they're thinking, maybe it's time for me to write one on my own and have that book. What would that look like? For me moving forward, should I do it? Or if I feel like I still need more experience, I feel like I need to do more. I'm not quite there yet.
Right. Well, compilation books are a great springboard, but if you've already got a book, a compilation book's a good idea too, because then you've got a book, you can promote that book too. You can promote the book you've written already, right?
Okay.
So write all the time. Get into, there's nothing you're going to spend $500, $1,000, $2,000 on ad in a magazine that's going to last like a book is. Even if you spend $2,000 to write a chapter in a compilation book, what are you looking at? A full page ad in a magazine that winds up in a birdcage someplace?
Yeah.
Books don't get thrown away. Books get handed over. Books get passed around. Even if it's sitting at a garage sale, that book is going to be in someone's hands. People feel bad when they throw a book away. They don't. So books are forever.
But
You're writing with a bunch of people. You've got all these other people. If everybody had 2,000 or 3,000 followers, even just a small amount, and you got 10 people, you got 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 followers. You've yet to do not one compilation book that did not go Amazon bestseller. You've made hundreds of Amazon bestsellers, and you can say I'm an Amazon bestseller. It's a true story, right? So all those things are good. But if you get to the point where you think, well, what do I want to do? You could start with your chapter and expand on it. You could do a small book. You could do a book that's 60 pages. And it doesn't have to be an enormous book. Larry Winget does the little books. He does I have hundreds of, I don't know, he's got dozens and dozens of $5 books. They're this big, right? But every time he has an idea, he writes another book. Well, now he's a multi-published author, right? And retiring, I think he's retiring. But still, you look at all that and you say, well, that was a hell of a career. He spoke on every TV show. He did everything just from writing tiny little books, selling for $5, $6. Okay, whatever. But you'll know when you're ready. And if you're not ready, that's okay. You'll be ready. But don't hold, and especially women, listen to me, women, okay? Don't hold yourself back. The statistics are true that if there's a job description and there's 10 items, a woman will not apply for that job unless she has all 10 items, all 10 listings. Where men will go like, I got about half of that, 60%, and they'll apply.
And I'm going to ask for more money.
Yeah, they'll get it, which really sucks. They'll get it too, right? But it's the same principle, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 40% there, I'm 50% there. Maybe I should have. You don't need to be 100% on anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. If you think you're 60, 70%, we'll take you the rest of the way. That's our job. We'll pull it out of you. We'll find the areas and say,
Yeah.
well, you know what? Maybe I'm not ready to write a giant book that's 60,000 words, but I'm ready to write 20,000. And that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. Write that
Yeah.
book and sell it for $5.99 on Kindle and $11.99 on, and use it, not so much to make money. That's great. Use it to go out and speak. Use it as a thing you can sign. Use it as a way to be a speaking engagement. If you can buy your book for $4 or $5 and sell it for 10 to a presenter, to whoever's in charge of an organization, they've got 100 people. You can say to them, for $1,000, I'll sell you my book for the whole 100 people, and then put it in their bag. Now you've made $500 to speak.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Right. And they didn't have to pay you
Absolutely.
anything. And they got a value. They've got a signed book, sign them all.
Yeah.
And now they're all, now 100 people have your book. The presenter has a gift. You've made $500. Everyone's happy. And you've got a speaking engagement out. There's so many things we could teach you about
Yeah.
how to utilize the book. That's just one little trick of the trade. So,
Yeah. So let's all listen to
very,
Lil.
and
Ladies, let's just start before we're ready. Really, honestly, if you've thought about it or it's been something your intuition telling you, I think I need to write a book and I'm not really sure what I would say, but I want to get the word out there, or I'm a real estate agent. I want to help more real estate agents, or I'm a mortgage broker and you want to write a book to help other mortgage brokers. I had a friend who started a podcast back in 2008. I think it was like 2008 or 9, when so many mortgage brokers were calling her on, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? She didn't have enough time to talk to everyone. So she just started a podcast and said, listen to the podcast. I'm giving all my information away through the podcast, and that's what really got her to start a podcast. And she wrote a book, it went to New York bestseller, and her podcast is in the top 1% because it was just about giving information away to help other people. And she couldn't do it one by one. So her mass podcast, her mass book was a way that she could give the information and not have to do it individually. So think on a larger level of how, if you really want to make an impact, this is the best way to do it. So Lil, tell us, what is the best way for people to connect with you? I know you're giving away a 30-minute consultation, and we have that information already available to everyone at their fingertips here. It's on Facebook in the description, but what is the best way for people to connect with you?
Absolutely. And you've got my Calendly link, but that is in Eastern Standard Time. So,
Okay.
And I have clients in Calgary, Canada, Australia. One lady's
Yeah.
doing a compilation book in Australia. So I'm up at 9:30 at night talking to her. It's her 9:30 in the morning. So if you can look at my Calendly, and it doesn't suit you, and you say, well, I can't find a time in there, don't be afraid to email me. All right. And my original company is Virtual Creatives, which is where we do all our marketing. And so my email is Lil, L-I-L, at virtualcreatives.com. And I believe that's in the information here.
Yeah.
And that'll find us. Our website is ghostwritersnetwork.com. And we are GWN, ghostwritersnetwork.com. GWN Publishing, because we don't ghostwrite most of our books. We don't want to put Ghostwriters Network Publishing. So it's GWN. We did the letters, GWN.
Yeah.
So GWN Publishing is our publishing company. But you can email me and you can pick a time on Calendly. And if you don't see a time, don't be afraid to email me and say, Lil, I'm in California, and can I talk to you at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night? And I'll be happy to talk. I work 12 hours a day. I'm building a beast. This thing is a beast, and I'm loving it. And so I don't mind. I'll talk to you at midnight. I don't sleep that much. So I sleep from like midnight to 7 in the morning. So if you don't find time, just email me. We'll figure it out, and we'll find a time to talk. Wherever you're at, don't be afraid. I've never done this. I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm ready. But wherever on the gray scale of that you are, happy to talk to you. Fair enough?
I love that. Yeah, fair enough, Lil. That's great information. And ladies, I'm just going to remind you one more time. You are the only you that's ever been, right? You are the only you that will ever be. You have a story. You have something to share. You have something to teach, and you have something to tell. You either are going to wait and the time will pass you by, and you're going to regret never doing it because you didn't give yourself the permission. You waited for someone else to give it to you. Well, Lil and I will give you the permission today to go ahead and explore what it would look like for you to be able to write a book on your own or do a compilation book with some other, even if you don't even know how to do a compilation book or what it looks like or what a subject would be, start the conversation. Let Lil ask you the questions that she asks so many other people to get to the answer that you're looking for. Start before you're ready. I wrote a chapter about start before you're ready in the book, Stop Waiting, Start Living by Julie Jones, because I really feel that if we don't start before we're ready and we wait, we'll never start. I wouldn't have had one child if I waited until I was ready for motherhood. I wouldn't have had one. I wouldn't have started a business. I wouldn't have done what I've done. So Lil is a genius at what she's done. She's been in this career for 30 years. And this is, the way that you want to go to expand your influence through publishing. This is the way to go. So Lil, thank you so much for being on our show today.
I also forgot, you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Oh, good.
And we have 2 compilation books if you want to be involved in. One is called Victim to Victory. So if you have a story of that nature, and one is about parenting. Jackie Finneman is, if you offer something to parents, please get a hold of me. There's spaces in both of those books if you'd like to be involved.
Wonderful. And ladies, there's your opportunity right there to get involved and become an author at a very low price for you to be able to kind of tip your toe into the water of what it's like to become a published author. So Lil, thank you for joining us today. And ladies, and gentlemen, that is how you expand your influence as a publisher. So I'm wanting you to connect with her. Please click on her links and get to know Lil Barcaski. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your week. And for now, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.